Well, our buddy Michael Bratton, that SEC podcast, just sat down. We'll chat with him in just a sec. They released. Have you heard the new game day song theme for this year, Tommy? Have you heard it?
No.
Okay. Well, that's our opening drive this morning. We'll get Tommy's thought. We'll get Mike's thoughts. Let's go ahead and get in our opening drive.
This is the opening drive.
So your bag's backed up against the wall, and the bandwagon's falling right off, and you're hearing all the talk about maybe you should think about what you're gonna do if it don't work out. It ain't about if it makes sense.
All right, so it's Bailey's and Luke Combs. You like Luke Combs, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I love Luke Combs. Beer never broke my heart.
We welcome in our buddy this morning. No.
I think I'm going to lose all of you. I don't like country at all.
Okay.
Except I like George Strait. Is that?
Yeah.
You just gained a friend.
Yeah.
You just gained a friend.
He only has 60 number one hits. Yeah.
So Mike, Tommy's been in an elevator this week, as he just said, with Kalen DeBoer and Shane Beamer.
It was the highlight of their week.
So, and now he's just
actually an escalator.
An escalator.
Wait,
I
Beamer and DeBoer at the same time?
Not at the same time. No.
Okay.
No, those guys were just in the right place at the right time. That's all I can say.
I was wondering if you fell asleep hanging out with DeBoer there for a minute.
Well, it was a short elevator ride.
Okay.
And we did talk about the All-Star game. He went to one in Seattle a couple of years ago. I did learn that.
DeBoring.
DeBoring.
That's literally the text I received 10 minutes ago, Mike. He's something. You know,
For some reason, I'm on the 12th floor and he was on the 15th. I'm trying to figure out why he's on a higher floor in the hotel than me. I can't quite figure this out.
Might have to.
You think his room's nicer than mine?
If I had to guess, yeah.
I'm going to guess he probably has a bar in his room. I've got 2 bottles of water in mine. So
now, while he may be boring, now you correct me if I'm wrong about this. You've got Alabama. We got the ballots last night.
Yeah.
You've got Alabama win the SEC this year, don't you? Or am I making that up?
No, well, you might be, but no.
Okay.
I'm picking Bama to win it. I think Bama's got as good a roster as Texas or Georgia. They don't play Texas.
They don't have to play Arkansas, obviously.
Exactly. They own Georgia. Now, I have said if he misses the playoff, though, 2 years in a row, expanded 12-team playoff, Nick Saban would never. We got to fire DeBoer. So it's win the SEC.
Wow.
Or if you miss the playoffs, get the heck out of here. And we've heard the rumors Nick Saban returning. Oh, what a coincidence, you know?
You know, it was interesting. I listened to Damen Harris this week, who played for Nick Saban as running back of Alabama. And, like, the old Alabama guard was not happy with last season. Obviously, there's going to be transition and whatnot. And I know there's expectations for every SEC program. But, like, kind of like you said, if he puts himself in another, like, 10-2, 10-2 gets you the playoff. But you go 9-3, 8-4. If he's not let go, he's on the hot seat heading into year 3 for sure.
Yeah, and I've heard the old money people, they don't jive with DeBoer either.
Wow.
They find him quite boring as well. So
okay.
I don't know if they signed off on that. I don't know what hand they had in that. But my theory is if they do fire him, we're bringing back Nick Saban, and we'll let Nick Saban pick his successor this time because I think they screwed that up.
Yeah. So Coach DeBoer's already spoke today. We got Jeff Levy coming up in just a while for Mississippi State. When you look at schedules, Bama's got Florida State and Wisconsin as non-conference opponents. You look at Mississippi State, to me it's one of the eyebrow-raising. They open in Hattiesburg at Southern Miss, and then they don't leave the state till like Christmas. You know, so it's amazing when you look at State's schedule. I'm sure he's going to get asked about that. Their first trip out of the state of Mississippi after playing 4 in a row after opening at Southern Miss is a trip to College Station October 4th. If Mississippi State has any chance of putting a bowl season together, it's probably being off to a very good start.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't do Jeff Levy any favors, did they, with this revamped schedule? Isn't it interesting how the SEC always does that? Sam Pittman got a screw job his first schedule as well. And meanwhile, Texas comes in here, we give him a cakewalk. Isn't it interesting how that works, guys? But, yeah, I mean, Mississippi State better sweep the non-conference because I think that's the only shot they have at going to a bowl game. And even if they do sweep, there's no guarantee. They still have to win 2 conference games.
Yeah. The flip side of that schedule, or the other counterbalance to that, is they don't play their first conference game to the one I mentioned because they start out with 4 non-conference opponents in a row, and then they play Tennessee and Starkville, then A&M.
Yeah.
So I mean, then it's 8 straight SEC games. So you better be buckled up at that point.
Well, I did a Mississippi State show earlier, and I guaranteed them, and I'll guarantee you guys as well. Mississippi State is making a bowl game the Egg Bowl. So I've got confidence in them to do that. But no, that Tennessee game, believe it or not, I'm a Tennessee graduate. That's tricky because Josh Heupel, for whatever reason, always has one of these stinkers on the road. I'm telling you guys, like, you don't know. Nah, we don't have to rehash. Yeah, there was beyond that.
Was there one from last year that stands out to you?
Florida, 2 years prior. I mean, Florida was awful. They dropped an egg there. Arkansas last year, obviously. So, yeah, I mean, it would be a shocker if they lost to Mississippi State, but stranger things have happened. I
was talking to one of my Nashville buddies, and they had Heupel on yesterday, and he said he was pretty confident, and he even used the word cocky. And what he told me, and you would probably know something about this, is while Nico may have a higher ceiling, he almost feels like that Aguilar might be more coachable. Do you think that's accurate, what the quarterback situation is now in Knoxville?
Yeah, and I mean, this goes to the era that we're in with obviously the money. You know, he was kind of the poster child for NIL, but he's also kind of old school poster child for helicopter parents. They were making demands on the offense. They were making demands on personnel. I just don't know how you can be too successful when you got. It's not like Josh Heupel has no clue what he's doing. I think Heupel's a top 10 coach in the country.
So we've been talking about money. We've been talking about firing people. It's two of our favorite topics around here.
Yeah.
So if money is tight because of rev share, where do you come up with the money to fire coaches now?
You got to find them doing Jeremy Pruitt-like activities. And I think it's cheaper to hire a private investigator than it is to get a buyout. And I think there's a coach or two in this conference that we can dig up some dirt on, particularly the one on the Plains, to where we may not have to pay a huge buyout.
Interesting. Sounds like you know something.
Maybe. Maybe.
So I think that's the conundrum.
Yeah.
School, presidents, chancellors, and ADs find themselves in is, all right, we got $20.5 million, plus we got $3 or $4 million more in scholarships. We got a $25 million bogey over here. Right. We're firing mid-level administrators. We're cutting every corner. Now you want us to fire a coach and pay his buyout, and then we got to buy someone else out, and you start adding up the till here in the total, and how much do we really not like this guy?
Right. And so what we're seeing instead, SEC programs, specifically I'm talking about Florida, Oklahoma, and to a lesser degree Kentucky, instead of firing the coach, paying the buyout, they're putting that money in the roster to try to be more competitive. But how long is that going to last? Yeah. Auburn's another one. I've heard Auburn's got a top 5 salary in college football this year, believe it or not. And why is their recruiting tanking? Because those people that are paying for the roster today, they're not going to give them another dime to go get a recruiting class. If you can't win with a top 5 roster, why are we going to give you more money to get high school recruits? That's what's going on at Auburn right now.
Auburn might be the most interesting team in the league when you think about that wide receiver room. You think about Jackson Arnold, who didn't have a great season last year, Norman, but he didn't have anyone to throw to because they lost like their top 5 pass catchers or whatever it was. Freeze is one in this league. He knows how to beat Alabama. There's pressure on him. You could argue it's the most in the SEC. That, to me, Mike, is the most interesting team in the league.
I love the fact that you said he knows how to beat Alabama because he's still living off that, too. That was like 12 years ago.
You're right.
He beat Nick Saban twice. I mean, that's going to be on his grave, hopefully in 30 years. Beat Nick Saban twice, but haven't done anything since, including last year, just imploded.
and broke 75 once at Rossbridge.
Exactly.
Beat Nick Saban, broke 75 at Rossbridge.
and handicap plus 1.
Oh.
So, yeah, I mean, I have zero expectations for Auburn. And what was Auburn's problem? Turning the ball over. What'd they do? Went and got a quarterback that turns the ball over. I mean, how's that going to solve it?
That's a good point.
Michael Bratton, that SEC podcast with us here from Radio at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta, Georgia. This afternoon, 2 coaches that are clearly on the hot seat, Florida and Billy Napier. Let's talk about Oklahoma. They're next door. We got some OU fans listening this morning. Brent Venables. I wouldn't say OU's program expectations are on the level of Bama, but they're not far behind. And I think Venables finds himself in a similar situation as the Kalen DeBoer conversation we were having a moment ago.
Yeah, and you mentioned that. I had no idea. Clearly, I hated Oklahoma until they got in the SEC. Now I love them, of course. But I visited Norman for the first time when they got introduced into the SEC. I had no idea that the championship culture there. And they have this thing, Heisman Park, all these Heismans. They
think they're better than Bama.
Oh, of course. I mean, being there, I felt like I was better than Bama just being there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, 6-6, 7-5. Losing a Navy in a bowl game should never happen for Oklahoma. If they go even 7-5 this year, which would be an improvement, I still think they got to move on from Venables.
Let me tell you something. I've worked with him for 7 years. I never thought that there'd be a university that someone his age would hate more than Texas, but he hates being on the border. Fort Smith is on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas.
I root for Texas in the Red River rivalry.
Isn't that absurd? Have you ever heard but that's how it is. And that's what's going to be fun about 2026 and beyond is, you get them in basketball and baseball, but I'd have to look. Has Arkansas ever been in Norman, Tommy? Has that ever happened? Or is it a while?
Probably when they went by train.
Yeah.
You know?
I know there's no history, but would you guys be fine if they made Oklahoma, Arkansas an annual thing?
It's better than Missouri.
Yeah.
100%.
Better than Missouri.
Well, they're not going to win as many as we should win against Missouri, but 100%, because I think for the part of the state we broadcast in, that we live in, I think it would carry more weight. There's not a lot of history. We like to bring up the Orange Bowl, from nearly 50 years ago, but they played in the Cotton Bowl a couple times. Our own Matt Jones was quarterback of that team. They lost on a cold day in I think a 3-point game, if I remember right, 10-7 or something like that. But no, there's not a ton of history, and there should be. Arkansas played Oklahoma State last year, as we saw. So I mean, there's some there is with the Sooner State, but more so with Oklahoma State in the 70s and recently than
the Barry Switzer connection.
The all time.
Yeah. I mean, the campuses, Mike, are 3 hours, 40 minutes apart. Like Donald W. to Gaylor.
Been playing in basketball. We've played in sports. It's happened, just not football.
Yeah. It is nice. Arkansas, again, gets Tennessee. There was a point where you weren't playing Tennessee as much, and now you've gotten them the last couple of years. You hadn't been to Knoxville since 2015, right? So it's been a decade.
I remember how that one turned out, too.
I remember it well. Tennessee kickoff. I turned it off. I don't know what happened.
It was 14-0. It rained all day. I was there. Rained all day, 4-0 before the popcorn got hot. Yep. And
it's Hogs. It's Orville Rickenbacher's birthday.
Redenbacher, get it right.
Sorry. I don't like popcorn.
Anyway, then Arkansas fought their way back under Bielema to win that game.
Do you remember what happened to Bielema?
Dobbs was the quarterback, right? Dobbs was the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Bielema ordered a pizza, and the place that delivered it put a UT on the pepperonis. It was all UT pepperonis.
We put Woo Pig Suey, a WPS, on Vitalo's pizza a couple weeks ago in baseball. So what comes around goes around. So, all right, so how do you see the Hogs this year?
I think it's going to be obviously rough, just because I don't know what to make of the defense. I don't think they have the talent. They lost so much that a lot of the players are playing elsewhere. All those guys should be still Razorbacks. I guess they weren't paying them, or they wanted to go win at a higher level. I don't know. But I do love Taylor Green. Working with Bobby Petrino year 2. A lot of shootouts.
Wish he still had Luke Haas.
And Armstrong. You got him at 4. Of any quarterback rankings, Mike, you've got Taylor so high on him heading into year 2 under Petrino.
Because just the immense talent that he flashed last year. And I know there was some inconsistency there, but he's the closest thing I think I've seen since Vince Young. I mean, he's in that profile, I feel like. Now, I have questions about the offensive line. I can't believe, what are we going into year 6 with Sam Pittman? We're still questioning the offensive line. It seems to be an annual discussion. Weapons about the receivers. But I just think the offensive operation will be a lot smoother. Like I said, year 2, working with Bobby Petrino, one of the best play callers in the country. This is his hand-picked quarterback. Give me an elite quarterback over an elite receiving core. Ideally, you'd have both, but I think they can overcome it. And like I said, I think the defense, unfortunately, is going to give up a lot of points. So I think Arkansas is going to have to force the issue and score a ton this year.
All right, well, Mike, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping in. And Michael Bratton, that SEC podcast, it's the best SEC podcast for my money on social media as well. Him and Cousin Shane do a great job with that. Mike, always good to chat with you, brother.
Yeah, thanks for not asking me where I'm voting Arkansas on the poll.
Well, I was going to leave that out. But you do have Taylor.
But it'll be somewhere.
Yeah.
But it will be
top
somewhere.
16.
Yeah. There you go. With a bullet. All right, Mike, good to catch up with you again this year. Michael Bratton, that SEC podcast with us here from Radio Row.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your sports betting action. And with baseball in full swing and football season right around the corner, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting. From MLB, UFC to tennis and NFL futures, BetOnline remains your choice for sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Head to the website today and take advantage of their industry-leading VIP program with level-up bonuses and weekly cash boosts. BetOnline. The game starts here.